What's up, YouTube? It's the one and only Legend of Winning, aka Low, and I'm back again with another video. Now, when it comes to the NBA, one of my favorite times of the year is the off season. The reason why is because every single year there's normally one or two major players in the free agency market, and we get to play as fans this what if game about where they should go and what's the best move for their career. Last year was LaMarcus Aldridge. The year before that it was LeBron James. Then you had Dwight Howard and so on and so forth. But this year was Kevin Durant's year, and with the cap going up so high that everybody and their mama had enough money to pay Kevin Durant, we all played that game, and for the most part we all thought that Kevin Durant could join our team. Now, me personally as a Laker fan, I really didn't want him on the team because we have a relatively young core, and I'm realistic and I didn't think he was going to come here anyway. But I cannot lie to you guys, I did not think that he was going to go to the Golden State Warriors. Now, the reason why it took me so long to make this video is because I didn't want to overreact, nor did I want to underreact. I wanted to see other people's perspective on this topic and then kind of gauge my reaction from that. And to be completely honest, I am pretty surprised how mixed the reactions are. But nevertheless, even with these people's reactions and some people believing that it's actually good for the NBA, I still can't help but believe that this is a bad move. Not only for the NBA, but for Kevin Durant, Golden State Warriors, and Steph Curry. Everybody who's involved really and truly doesn't win as much as we may believe. And that's why I'm here making this video. So here are 4 reasons why Kevin Durant signing to the Golden State Warriors is actually a really bad move. Now, as I look deeper into the NBA, the more I start to understand that 30 teams in this league is just way too much. And let's be honest, in the past few years, there are consistently about 10 teams that are just irrelevant just because they value losing more than winning. Regardless if it's the Sixers or the Lakers, the Phoenix Suns, the Sacramento Kings, there will always be roughly 10 teams in this league that are irrelevant. Flat out, we just don't care about it. And this team may magnify even more with KD going to the Golden State Warriors. Now, of course, OKC will be in that list of teams because, let's be honest, Russell Westbrook isn't going to stay there any longer than he has to, because who wants to live in the middle of the country by themselves on a team that is quite frankly going to have to rebuild? So Russell Westbrook also will be off that team, and the only way that Oklahoma City will be able to build anything else up is through the draft, because again, nobody in their right mind is going to decide to go to Oklahoma unless they are promised or at least given a fair chance at winning. But honestly, that probably won't happen. In today's league, people value tanking more than losing, or more than getting an 8th spot, or even getting a spot in the playoffs unless they know they're going to win it all. And with KD going to the Golden State Warriors, this again gets magnified. Teams are already irrelevant in the big picture. Who cares who makes a 7th or 8th spot in the East or the West, because odds are they're going to get bounced out of the first round because how overpowering the first 2-3 seeds are in both conferences. And again, to the teams that don't even make the playoffs, they are valuing losing more than actually making the playoffs because the tanking system actually rewards them. It's not like it was back in the day when there was only 20 teams. Back then, if you made the 7th or 8th spot in the playoffs, not only did you get a playoff berth, but you got a pick in the lottery. So you still won on both ends. You still were giving some form of reward for making the playoffs, even though you probably didn't beat the 1st or 2nd seed in your corresponding conference. But in today's NBA, because we're so watered down with so many teams, that doesn't happen. Teams are going to tank, and they're going to continue to tank until they're able to piece together a team that's good enough to beat LeBron in the East and now KD and the Golden State Warriors in the West. And so when KD does this, it does not help the NBA. More teams will just become irrelevant. Now, I get it, you probably are going to sit there at the edge of your seat every Friday night on TNT to watch KD and Golden State face whoever they're going to face. But again, let's just be honest, everybody who's already watching the Golden State Warriors play, regardless if they were playing OKC, the Cavaliers, hell, even if they were playing the Lakers, people were still watching them play. So again, it's not going to be that many more people watching these games just because Kevin Durant is on the team. Sure, a couple of viewers are going to be caught on here and there, especially when KD goes back to OKC to play the Thunder, but Not that many more people will be watching these games just because Kevin Durant was on there, because again, last year they went 73-9 and they got multiple viewers. But for everybody else, nobody's going to be watching their games. Nobody's not going to be watching some random regular season game that happened in Toronto against the Charlotte Hornets. Nobody doesn't care about that anymore, because again, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't even matter. Who cares what's the seeding amongst the Toronto Raptors or the Utah Jazz or any other random regular season team? And to further prove this point, let's go look at the Eastern Conference playoffs. Last year, Toronto gave us 2 7-game series and nobody watched those. Nobody didn't care. You know why? Because we already knew if they played the Cavaliers with LeBron on it, they were going to lose. The parity was already lost. We already knew the outcome of the game, which is why it's going to be quite boring to watch the NBA from now on. We already know Golden State Warriors are going to win. We know this already. Regardless if they struggle a little bit or not, odds are they will make the finals and they will win it all. And again, that's cool to watch them play together, and I'm pretty sure we all are going to find a kick and a joy out of it. But in the grand scheme of things, nobody doesn't care about the other 20-odd teams in the NBA. Dwight Howard went back home to Atlanta. That completely got overshadowed. LeBron James is trying to win back-to-back championships with Cleveland, which has never ever happened. But again, that doesn't matter anymore. The New York Knicks are finally good again, but nobody doesn't care about that neither. Hell, Tim Duncan retired. He's on the verge of retiring, and that's peanuts compared to Kevin Durant going to that team. This team will overshadow everything else that happens in the league, which thus will make the rest of the league as a whole more boring to watch. Super teams have been something that has been going on in the NBA for a very long time now. Of course, dating all the way back into the 60s with Bill Russell when he was on, quote unquote, a super team. He had players on that team that were probably 2 or 3 of them were probably top 10, top 15 in the league at that point in time, leading all the way up to about a few years ago when LeBron went to Miami and, you know, took his talents to South Beach and formed a super team. But the difference between what they did and what KD just did are variables that we all know that will end up hurting the NBA for a very, very long time. When you're building a super team, you can basically build a super team off of 1 or 2 reasons. 1, you're on an organization that is god awful and you have no talent around you. Or 2, you're way past your prime and you just need to win as soon as possible. Kevin Durant doesn't fit none of those situations, and I don't understand why people have the audacity to compare his situation to LeBron's situation. LeBron was on this team trying to beat this team, so he formed this team. LeBron didn't do this, so it's not the same. People have to stop comparing that because it just doesn't make any sense. You're literally taking the context out of what we're talking about here. Kevin Durant is in his prime. Curry is in his prime. Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, all in their prime. And they're not even 30 yet. Matter of fact, I think Klay Thompson and Draymond are roughly 25, 26 years old. So the reason why we don't overreact when Charles Barkley joins the Houston Rockets is because he's 33 years old when he did it. He only had a few more years left in his career, so heck, just go ahead and do it. Same thing with Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Garnett. They are well over 30. I think Ray Allen was 32 when it happened. And again, you're only going to have a few more good years left in your career, so just do what you can. And when LeBron did it, he was on a god-awful team. He needed to be around better managed people so they can actually put pieces around him to win a championship. And again, Kevin Durant wasn't in any of those scenarios. And so now we're in a situation to where the NBA has to react and keep up with a ridiculous team in Golden State Warriors for the next 1 or 2 years, and it might actually be longer than that, because Kevin Durant has stated that he doesn't want to leave. He wants to end his career in Oakland, which is fine by all means. He can do whatever he wants to do, but now the rest of the league is basically looking like, how can we compete without forming our own super teams? Which then leads back to my original statements by saying that teams are already irrelevant. So now you're talking about talents that are leaving irrelevant teams, joining other teams to form super teams just to combat this super team, which again is bad for the NBA. The purpose of there being a salary cap is not to limit the amount of money given to players, but to level off the playing field. And so when that is gone, you completely have a terrible NBA. This is something that is obviously going to happen within the next 2 or 3 years. And how people don't see that, it blows my mind. The only way you're going to be able to beat this team is if you join somebody else, piece together a super team, and actually dethrone them. And when that happens, again, there are already 10 irrelevant teams. That number will just continue to grow, and grow, which again leaves a very, very bad league for us to watch. Now, I'm not Kevin Durant, but I think I can come to the conclusion to understand why he did this move, and it's simply because of his legacy. He wants to win as many rings as he possibly can and add that to the legacy that he already has in the NBA. And to be completely honest with you, I can't blame him. And this right here is by far the easiest route in doing so. He literally took the easy way out. Regardless of how you feel about that statement, that's what he did. He took the easy way out of doing it. And again, I can't blame him, because in today's media and the way that people conversate about NBA greats, it's simply boiled down to player A is better than player B, not because of numbers or their individual accomplishments. It's simply boiled down to one has more rings than the other, so therefore that player is better than the other, which is wrong, because I can show you a whole bunch of examples on how that isn't true. Scottie Pippen is consistently regarded better than a lot of other players simply because he has 6 rings, when in reality, if you compare his numbers to somebody like Clyde Drexler, who was a face of a franchise for the majority of his career, led his team to the finals 2 out of 3 years in a row, and ended up still winning a championship with the Houston Rockets, people still say that Scottie Pippen is better because he has 6 rings. And why is that? Because he played on a team with Michael Jordan? If you put Michael on a team with Clyde, odds are Clyde would have more rings than just the one that he has. But nobody doesn't put context in people's careers. So at the end of the day, we still ended up with Scottie Pippen is better than Clyde Drexler because Scottie Pippen has more rings. And because Kevin Durant knows this, that is the reason why he made this decision. But in my opinion, it still doesn't help his legacy. Because the reason why players are so great is not necessarily because the amount of rings that they have, because truth be told, everybody in the top 10, top 15 probably has 2 to 3 rings. The reason why players like Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaq, Tim Duncan, the list goes on, the reason why they're great is not because of rings, it's because of the adversity they had to overcome to get those rings. Michael Jordan reached another level of greatness just to pass the Pistons to win his first ring. Magic Johnson won his first NBA championship as a rookie, and he did so by facing the adversity of playing the 5 and the power forward position because Kareem got hurt in the finals. Dirk Nowitzki was a heavy underdog in the finals in 2011, and he overcame that adversity by pushing himself to new greats to beat the Miami Heat. And of course, just last year, LeBron James solidified his career by coming back, being down 1-3 in the NBA Finals, which has never been done against a team that just went 73-9. Moments like that is what really defines players' careers, not how many championships you have or how many times you held up the trophy. And unfortunately, when Kevin Durant makes this move, odds are he will never have those moments again, because again, this is the easy way out. Odds are the Golden State Warriors will never have to struggle. To be completely honest with you, they barely struggle in the regular season because Steph Curry barely played the 4th quarter anyway. So we'll never see the true potential of Kevin Durant. In my opinion, he could have continued to grow into a better player than what he already is. But again, he may not ever have to do that. Kevin Durant was a MVP in this league. Odds are he'll never have to work that hard ever again if he stays on this team. Kevin Durant led the league in points, 3 or 4 times. Odds are he'll never have to do that again because he's on a team where they score plenty of points. And Kevin Durant, at least to me, was on the right track to becoming a top 15, top 20 player of all time. But in my opinion, he can never be that because again, we never understand the full potential of what type of player he could be. And again, that hurts the NBA because the great talent that Kevin Durant is now has to be minimized just so he can fit in with the scheme of the Golden State Warriors. And with that being said, in my opinion, the Kevin Durant move ends up hurting the NBA more than it does help it. And it is a bad move. Also, thank you to everybody who's been watching my channel. The videos are growing at a very consistent rate. If you haven't watched the Stephen Curry video, please go check that out. And regardless if you like or dislike the video, I could really care less. At least just leave a comment in the comment section below. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing with your life? Just go ahead and hit the subscribe button and you'll be subscribed. You'll be updated on all the videos that I put out and also the podcasts that I have on the channel. So I'll see y'all next time. Peace.